Elon Musk can't pretend anymore, and millionaire Donald Trump reveal a shocking secret. The lavish ballroom buzzed with whispers and flashed with 1,000 camera bulbs. Elon stood at the centro like a thundercloud, calm on the surface but crackling beneath. Just hours earlier, a confrontación had rattalisimundo. Donald Trump, loud and smug, had cornered him at the high-profile gala, dropping a bombshell nobody saw coming. The room had gone silent. Elon's chest tightened. His hands trembling under the gleam of the chandeliers. A lump choked his throat. Did you really think your empire was built just on genius and hard work? Donald's voice cut sharp, slicing through the polished crowd. There is a legacy buried deep, stuff they don't want you to know. Secrets that will shred your spotless image. Elon's eyes flickered. Shock, anger, doubt. The media vultures were already circling, their questions savage and relentless. Cameras zoomed in on every twitch, every pause. The valley's pulse quickened, electric with rumors of corruption and desperation. Silicon Valley wasn't just a tech hub anymore. It was a battlefield of ambition and shadows. Elon retreated, swallowed by a storm of doubt. Could he face this? The family history he'd pushed aside, the quiet whispers in old letters and faded photos creeping up like ghosts. What if the roots of his success were tangled in something darker? He wandered the streets alone, lights blurring past like fleeting illusions. Was everything a mask? Was the man who built rockets and cars just a shell propped up by hidden truths? The city's neon glare mocked him. Fake smiles, fragile facades. Then, out of nowhere, a slip of paper appeared, folded in his palm. No note, just a cryptic message. Truth hides in the places you fear to look. His heart slammed. Donald's words echoed louder. A secret? What could Donald really know? Something dangerous enough to ruin him, to destroy the myth Elon spent years crafting. The choice carved itself deep. Confront Donald and risk collapse? Or dive deep into the shadows of his own past, chasing the jagged edges of his identity? The weight pressed down, heavy and unforgiving. Every step forward felt like stepping through a minefield. Silicon Valley's glittering surface wasn't the whole story. Ambition could burn bright, but what if it was built on ashes? Elon stopped at the threshold of his penthouse. The city sprawled below, a kingdom built on dreams and lies. A cold sweat broke over his skin. In that moment, he knew the coming days would tear everything apart. Would he face the breaking point? The truth, the lies, the hidden cracks? Or would he sink beneath the surface, swallowed by shadows he once thought long gone? His phone blinked. One new message waiting. No sender, no words, just an icon, a key. The room fell silent. Elon's breath caught. How far was he willing to go? How much could he lose? The answer hung in the air like a storm ready to break. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscripciones without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. And let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participación makes all the diferencia. Let's interact. Elon stood frozen, the weight of the unknown pressing down hard. The key icon flickered on his phone screen, an invitation and a threat, all at once. His heart raced, pounding like a drum in his ears. How far was he willing to go? What lay behind the door marked by Donald's warning? He turned away from the window, the sprawling city below suddenly feeling like a cage. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered his scattered thoughts. A loud, sickening sound. Elon rushed to the ballroom. Pulse quickening, he pushed open the door. There stood his trusty asistente Carla, mouth agape, esperando pérticamente. El aire alrededor craqueleó con una tensión que no podía ignorar. Elon, tenés que ver esto. Le tumbó la ventana a su mano. La noticia fue un teso envenenoso. El título del Elon Musk Secret Father revealed. ¿Qué quiere decir? His voice tembló. Se puntó una foto grabada de un hombre sonriendo con efectiva calidez, el resemblante Elon. El artículo detallaba la historia familiar, escándalos atraídos a padre que nunca conocía, un hombre involucrado en dudas de transacciones shadows indios. Su vida entera era una fasada. You've got to confront this. Panic clawed at him. But those words, so familiar, echoing Donald's taunts, sparked an ember of rage. Was this coordinated? Could Donald's brilliant play lead to his unraveling? What if this so-called secret was real? Elon snatched the phone, eyes darting over the screen, searching for clues hidden in plain sight. Who leaked this? He demanded, feeling unmoored, exposed. But before Carla could answer, another crash rattled through the room. Louder and fiercer this time! A shadow lunged forward, someone forceful clad in a dark hoodie breaking into their sanctuary. The world tilted as a blur moved swiftly. Get down! Elon shouted, adrenaline firing in his veins. He grabbed Carla, pulling her close just as the intruder lunged toward them. Chaos erupted. The intruder's face twisted into a grimace, and before Elon could react, a flash of metal glinted in the light. It was a knife, raised high for a strike that never came. A sharp tug, a struggle, then a pop that silenced everything. The room fell still, a heavy hush that flickered with tension. Elon's body went rigid. It was the sound of gunfire. A shot rang out through the room. He turned, horror etched deep in his face, just in time to see Carla crumpling to the ground as blood blossomed across her white blouse. No, Carla! His scream echoed, piercing the silence like a blade. Panic gripped him, tears welling in his eyes. How could this be happening? Everything spiraled, and he felt the world slip from his grasp. But then, a shocking realization struck him. Within the chaos, the masked figure had turned their attention to the ground. A keycard had fallen from his pocket. A card that unlocked every door in the tech empire. They were here for something specific. Elon's breath came in ragged gasps, anger and fear battling in his chest. Who had sent this assassin? Was Donald behind it, pulling strings from the shadows. A truth buried deeper than he could have ever feared. He fell to Carla's side. "Stay with me!" Desperation filled his voice, but he knew, deep down, fate had dealt them a cruel hand. The key was slipping away with the fading heartbeat of his closest ally. The stakes were higher than ever. The room felt like a ticking bomb, every second a countdown toward discovery or demise. In the grip of uncertainty, the urgent question blazed in his mind: who could he trust now? The door shook as someone outside pounded to get in. Rattling, frantic, the unfolding chaos enveloped him. Would he unearth the truth, or watch as everything collapsed like a house of cards? He clutched the keycard tighter, urgency crawling through his veins, the danger only just beginning. Elon stood still, the flickering city lights outside casting shadows across his face. The message on his phone pulsed like a heartbeat. A key! What did it mean? Did it unlock the truth or the darkness? He paced the floor, thoughts racing. He couldn't think straight. The pressure was suffocating. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the silence. The window shattered into 1,000 pieces, showering the room with glass. He instinctively ducked, adrenaline pumping. His heart raced, a primal fear clawing at his throat. He whipped around, just in time to see a figure leap through the shattered frame. "Stay back!" he shouted, fists clenching. But the figure didn't come to attack. It was a woman, wild-eyed and gasping, a tangle of brown hair framing her face. "Elon, you have to listen to me!" She stumbled closer, her breath coming in quick bursts. "They're coming for you!" Elon's mind spun. Who was this? What are you talking about? Donald, he knows more than you think. Your past, it's not what you believe. Panic echoed in her voice. You need to get out. Before he could respond, another crash echoed from the hallway. Heavy footsteps, voices, rushed shouts. "We've got him! Search the floor!" Panic flared in Elon's chest. What past? What did you mean? A siren blared in the distance, drawing nearer. The woman grabbed his arm, dragging him toward the back door. "Please, we don't have time!" The room buzzed like a hornet's nest. He glanced back just as the door burst open, revealing two men in dark suits, faces hard and unyielding. Their eyes locked on him, cold and calculating. He felt his stomach drop. "Stop!" one of the men barked, reaching for his waistband. Elon yanked the woman with him through the kitchen entrance, heart racing. "Who are you? Why are they after me?" "I can't explain now. Just trust me." She pulled him along, adrenaline fueling her urgency. Out the back door, they ran into the cool night, breathless, heartbeats drumming a frantic rhythm. The alley felt dark and confining, the tall buildings looming like giants, watching their every move. "We need to find a place to hide," she said, glancing over her shoulder, her voice trembling. "They're not just any men. They're after your family. The connections. That hidden past." What hidden past? The words clawed up his throat. "What do you know?" She hesitated, biting her lip. The shadows flickered around them, doubts creeping in. "The truth is," she started, but the sound of footsteps echoed behind them. "We need to go now." They dove into another alley, searching for an escape. In the gloom, her hand gripped his tighter. They raced through back streets, every sound growing amplified in the midnight silence. Finally, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned building. "In here," she urged, tugging him inside. As they huddled in the dark, She finally looked him in the eye. You need to know, your success isn't just yours. It's tied to your family's deeds, deceit, corruption. You need to confront it before they take everything from you, including your life. Her words hung heavy, like a weight pushing down on him. Elon felt the walls closing in, the world he'd built unraveling at the seams. He was not just fighting to defend himself, he was battling against the very foundation of his existence. "What have they done?" he whispered, feeling the ground shift beneath him. "Everything," she said, her eyes wide with fear. The silence that followed stretched like a taut wire, sparking anticipation. The truth was closer than it had ever been. But how deep did the darkness go? Outside, the searches continued, the clock ticking down. They had to move. But where? And what awaited him on the other side of the truth? Elon stood in the dark, adrenaline pumping, the weight of the woman's words pressing down like a boulder. Outside, the search continued, each step closer to unraveling the truth, and he could feel the walls closing in. He wasn't just a tech mogul anymore. He was a man caught in a web of deceit, his very existence teetering on the edge. "Your family's deeds," the words echoed in his mind. What kind of deeds? Before she could reply, a loud crash rang out in the alley, the sound shattering the night. His heart raced, instincts kicking in. He pulled her deeper into the shadows, breathless, trying to drown out the chaos erupting outside. "What are they after?" he asked, desperation creeping into his voice. "What's my family involved in?" "Everything," she whispered, urgency in her tone. "But we don't have time." Just then, a flickering streetlight revealed a fragment of her panicked expression. In that moment, something clicked, a fleeting recognition. Pet eyes! Could it be? "Elon, we need to go!" she urged, pulling him toward an emergency exit. But he didn't move. "Wait, who are you? Why do you know so much?" She hesitated, but urgency pushed her. "I'm someone who can help. You just have to trust me." Trust? The word hung between them, heavy and filled with doubt. He swallowed hard, wrestling between instinct and fear. He had too much at stake. As if answering his internal battle, a series of flashlights cut through the alleyway. Voices. They were close. "The back! Let's move!" She dragged him once more, propelling him forward. They stumbled into an empty warehouse, a relic of forgotten dreams. Dust danced in the narrow beams of light as they crouched behind a rusted pillar. Elon's mind raced. Was this truly his life? Running from shadows? He took a deep breath, trying to quell the panic. Suddenly, the warehouse door slammed open. A team of agents flooded in, faces hidden beneath dark hoods, moving with military precision. They spread out, searching each corner methodically. ... "They're here," she hissed, her eyes wide. "We need to make it to the other side." But a loud voice rang out, chilling Elon to the bone. "Elon Musk, you're surrounded. Surrender now and we won't harm you." The woman turned to him, panic spreading across her features. "We can't stay here. Follow me." As they darted through the cluttered space, a loud bang echoed through the rafters. The sound of gunfire cut through the air, ricocheting off the walls and slamming into Elon's chest. He felt the heat of panic rise. A drop of sweat slid down his back. "Run!" he shouted, his voice raw. They dashed toward a flicker of light on the far side. But just as they reached a door, she stumbled, catching herself on his shoulder. The intensity in her eyes shifted to something softer, something heartbreaking. Elon, there's something you need to know. He turned, confusion twisting in his gut. What? Suddenly, her expression morphed. The urgency vanished, replaced by a cold steel resolve. You don't know the truth about your father. About us. What do you mean, us? Elon. Her voice shifted, laced with something deeper. You were never meant to succeed alone. Your father had a plan, a legacy he built for us. When you rise, it's my rise too. His heart sank, the ground beneath him dissolving into chaos. What are you saying? In the depth of their panic, revelation struck like lightning. She wasn't just an ally. She was something more, something he couldn't yet grasp. Before he could respond, the door burst open again. An agent lunged towards them with a shocking motion. The woman pushed Elon aside and confronted the intruder. It's too late for this. That's when everything twisted. She grabbed the agent, and in a fierce movement, her hand produced a small device. A flash of bright light engulfed them, filling the air with electricity. Elon shielded his eyes, the world spinning. When he looked again, she was gone. Panic surged through him. Where had she gone? Was she part of this? The people searching for him? He felt a jarring realization ripple through him. Had everything he built been underpinned by betrayal? Elon Musk. The voice echoed again, heartless. Surrender now. He looked around, bewildered, alone in the chaos with palpable confusion and fear coursing through him. Who could he trust? And then it clicked. The key icon on his phone flashed in his mind. What if those shadows Harry spoke of weren't enemies, but part of a hidden legacy? As raw panic gripped him, the questions flooded in. What had he missed? What did she take with her? And would he unravel the truth that might just destroy him? Elon stood frozen, the flickering icon of the key flashing on his phone screen. The weight of his choices pressed down, slamming him against the wall of uncertainty. Was this the moment? Did he dare unlock whatever door Donald was talking about? His heart raced. Then the room fell still. A whisper echoed from the hallway, as if the walls were listening. The elegant decor of his penthouse suddenly felt suffocating. The click of the front door pierced the silence. A figure stepped in, tall and shadowed, heart racing, adrenaline crashing like waves against the shore. It was Katerina, his closest advisor, her face pale. She rarely looked scared, and the sight sent a chill creeping up his spine. Elon, we need to talk, she stammered, her usual confidence stripped away. Now, what's wrong? His voice trembled, laced with urgency. She stepped into the light, revealing her ashen features. I just got off the phone with someone who knows everything. The words hung heavy, like thick fog, swallowing the room. Elon felt a surge of dread. What do you mean? What do they know? Katerina swallowed hard, her gaze shifting, avoiding his. They mentioned your father. Past. It's not what you think. He stepped back. What are you talking about? My father was a hard man, yes, but... No, she interrupted, her voice dripping with desperation. He wasn't just a businessman. He was involved in things, dangerous things, the kind of things that could destroy you. Stop! Panic clawed at his insides, raw and wild. I don't want to hear it. You're mistaken. But Caterina shook her head, tears glissando como glass en sus ojos. I wish I was, but I talked to a private investigator. Your father's name is linked to illegal dealings, companies, partners, politicians. It runs deeper than you ever imagined. Elon felt the ground begin to crumble beneath him. The very man who shaped his ambition was now a shadow darkening his legacy. Why didn't you bring this to me sooner? His voice cracked. The trail danced in the edges. I didn't know, she shouted, hands trembling. I thought I could protect you from it. I didn't want to believe it. A noise erupted outside, a crash, glass shattering like fragile dreams. The gala energy outside ebbed and surged into chaos. The intercom buzzed, a frantic voice cutting in. Emergency! Everyone stay calm! We have an unidentified situation on the premises. Katerina's eyes widened. We need to go! But something stopped him. Something darker rooted him to the floor. The key, he mumbled, staring at his phone. Forget the key, she yelled, panic igniting the air. We need to find safety. No! After everything, he couldn't let go. The truth was looped around him like chains. What was hidden was not just out there. It was in his veins. If my father, if he's tied to this mess... Suddenly, another voice interrupted, one he hadn't expected to hear. He is! Elon spun around, his breath hitching. It was Raven, a former partner, her face fuming with anger and desperation. You really think you were the only one who had eyes on your family's past? There's more at stake here than you know. Elon's heart sank. What do you mean? Raven stepped closer, eyes burning. There are others who want what your father had. It's bigger than you thought. Powerful people are coming for your empire. They don't just want the company, they want you. The revelation loomed like a storm cloud overhead, ready to unleash hell. Chaos erupted outside. Lights flashed, sirens wailed. A choice lay before him. Run from the past or confront it. He took a deep breath, resolve gathering inside him. But as he glanced towards Katerina and Raven, a crack echoed in his chest. What if the truth, once revealed, only led to more shadows? What if everything he thought he knew was a lie? The walls felt tighter now. The truth was closing in, dark, powerful, and ready to swallow him whole. He had a decision to make. And as the door slammed behind them, Elon knew one thing. There was no turning back. Elon's heart raced as the phone blinked. One new message, just an icon of a key. What did it mean? The air was thick with uncertainty, and sweat trickled down his back. He had faced hard choices before, but this felt different, darker. Truth hides in the places you fear to look, he whispered, the words tasting bitter. He could feel the shadows closing in, the whispers growing louder. What had he concealed? His mind raced. The gala, Donald's taunting voice echoing, secrets that will shred your spotless image. The moment felt like a deck of cards stacked against him, ready to tumble with one wrong move. Elon stepped into his penthouse, the expansive views of the city stretching before him. He grabbed the curtain, pulling it back. The twinkling lights blurred into a canvas of fleeting hopes. But was hope real anymore? Torn between confronting Donald or facing whatever lurked in his history, he felt adrift. Sitting on his couch, he tried to breathe, to collect himself. He knew he'd have to confront Donald at some point. But what if the truth led him not just to personal despair, but to revelations that could shake the very foundations of what he'd built? A sudden knock on the door jolted him upright. He wiped his damp palms on his jeans, urgency clawing at him. Who could it be at this hour? Cautiously, he approached the door, his heart pounding in a rhythm that matched the urgency in his pulse. "Who is it?" he called out. But there was no answer. Instead, the knocking became more insistent, a rapid tattoo echoing in the silent space. With a deep breath, he opened the door. Standing there was a figure, cloaked in shadows, face obscured. His skin prickled. "We need to talk," the voice rasped, low and urgent. Elon hesitated. "Who are you?" The stranger stepped into the dim light, revealing a face that caused Elon's heart to drop. It was a person from his past, someone he thought he had buried long ago. "Carla? What are you doing here?" His voice was barely a whisper. Memories flooded back, secret meetings, shared dreams, and ambitions that he had left behind. She had been the one who had planted the seeds of his biggest ideas. The one who challenged him to dream bigger, but also the one who vanished without a trace. "I don't have much time," she said, urgency tightening her features. "Donald knows everything about you, about us. You need to understand he's been watching." Elon felt the ground shift beneath him. "Watching? Why?" "Because your past isn't what you think it is. You weren't meant to become this titan," she said, her eyes piercing through him. "There's a deal you don't remember, something that chained your fate to his. You need to listen now." A chill ran down his spine. Secrets, deals. He thought he was the master of his own empire. But what if he was a pawn in someone else's game? Donald has something that connects you to him in ways you can't even imagine. If you don't act now, it could all come crashing down. Elon's thoughts raced, a cacophony of confusion and fear. "What do you mean? What are you saying?" Before she could respond, a loud crash cut through the tension, echoing from down the hallway. Someone had forced their way in. "Kick! You have to trust me!" Carla exclaimed, her voice urgent as she grabbed his arm. The door burst open. Donald stood there, flanked by two men, a predatory grin on his face. "I knew you'd come crawling back, Elon." The scene froze. Elon's world tilted. Old memories, hidden agendas, and the weight of unspoken truths collided. Everything he had built felt like a house of cards about to give in to the wind. "Let's play," Donald said, his voice smooth and threatening. Elon realized in that moment that the truth he had been running from was about to collide with his present in a way he never expected. Everything felt poised on the brink of chaos, and he was caught in the eye of the storm. Trapped between past and present, he would have to decide, fight to reclaim his future or get swept away in the darkness of the past. The tension hung thick like fog, every breath a weighty reminder of what's at stake. Elon's heart pounded in his chest, the weight of that message pulling him into shadows of his past. He moved through his penthouse, each step heavier than the last, mind racing. What if Donald's words weren't just mind games, What they were a sliver of truth? His phone blinked again. The key icon mockingly glowed against the sleek black screen. What did it mean? Was it connected to the message? Something in him screamed to explore, to dive deeper. But instinct held him back. Fear wrapped its icy fingers around him. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered his thoughts. The sound echoed from the hallway. Elon's heart leaped. He rushed out, adrenaline coursing through him. The air felt electric, charged with something ominous. He turned the corner and saw it. His assistant, Mia, was sprawled on the floor, papers scattered around her like fallen leaves. Her eyes wide, fear etched across her face. "Elon!" she cried, urgency in her voice. "You need to see this!" He knelt beside her, hands trembling as he grabbed the closest sheet. His breath hitched in his throat. The receipt was dated 1 month prior. It showed a hefty payment, an astronomical amount, made under a company name he had never heard of. "What is this?" he demanded, the words spilling out, sharp and confused. Mia struggled to catch her breath, eyes darting as if expecting someone to leap from the shadows. "It's not just that, there's something on the back." With shaky hands, he flipped the paper. A photograph stared back, a photo of him, younger, standing beside a man he recognized, but had thought long forgotten. His father. "This was taken at the launch of your first company," Mia said, her voice almost a whisper. "But look closer. This man." Elon squinted, fear mounting as he felt the ground shift beneath him. The person in the picture wasn't just any businessman. It was Donald Trump, grinning like an old friend. "Mia, what is going on?" he asked, panic clawing at the edges of his mind. "I don't know, I just found it," she stammered, eyes brimming with confusion and panic. Silence enveloped them for a moment. The realization crashed into Elon like a tidal wave. Everything he thought he knew was slipping away. Was he just another pawn in some twisted game? "Dig deeper," he ordered, a cold fury igniting inside him. "Find out who this company is and connect the dots." As Mia scrambled to gather the rest of the scattered papers, his phone buzzed again. This time, a familiar contact. A voice message. It was from his mother. "Elon, sweetheart, I need to talk to you. There are things about our past, your father, that you don't understand. You have to come home." Elon's heart sank, anxiety squeezing tighter. Home? The place he had avoided like the plague? A voice emerged from the depths of his memories, one he never expected to hear again. And suddenly, everything spiraled. A hidden legacy? A connection to Donald? His perfect life, built on a lie? He felt the walls closing in. How far did this rabbit hole go? Mia looked up, desperation in her eyes. "Elon, we need to act fast." "Yeah," he agreed, breathless. "But the question is, how much truth can we handle?" The air grew thick with tension, uncertainty clouding their minds like a fog. The storm was just beginning. Elon felt the urgency hanging thick in the air, every word weighing down his heart. "How much truth can we handle?" echoed in his mind, an unanswered question swirling like smoke. Mia knelt beside him, her eyes wide with fear. "We need to keep looking. Something more is at play here." He could see the panic in her expression, the way she rubbed her hands as if trying to chase away the dread creeping in. The papers scattered around them felt like the remnants of his shattered world. Before he could answer, the lights flickered. Shadows danced eerily on the walls. A chill ran down his spine, his instincts screaming for action. The power surged back on with a buzz, but it wasn't the lights that caught his attention. From somewhere deeper in the penthouse, a deep thud echoed, like a heartbeat thumping against silence. His skin prickled. What was that? Mia glanced at him, her eyes darting. I don't know, but we can't stick around to find out. They moved cautiously towards the sound, each step heavy with apprehension. The hallway loomed ahead, dark and suffocating like a tunnel leading to unknown horrors. They crept closer, hearts racing, the tension thickened, and Elon felt it in his chest. A weight, an urgency to confront whatever lay ahead. As they neared the source, a figure staggered out, shrouded in the dim glow from the back rooms. His breath caught. Dad? The man stood there, wild-eyed and disheveled. His father. Exactly as Elon remembered from the photographs he tried to forget. You don't understand. They're coming for you, he gasped, urgency etched into his brow. Dad! Elon felt the flood of memories crashing into him. Confusion twisted with anger. What are you doing here? His father looked gaunt, shadowed by fear. I was trying to protect you, but it's too late. Just then, another crash sounded. The front door burst open, and Trump appeared, flanked by men in dark suits. There you are. His voice was as smug as ever, contempt dripping from every word. Elon felt his pulse quicken. You! He pointed, barely able to contain his rage. You've been behind all this. Behind what? Donald sneered, eyes sparkling with mischief. Your family's secrets? You have no idea how deep this goes. His gaze shifted from Elon to his father, a cruel smile spreading. Enough! Elon shouted, stepping forward, fists clenched. Enough with the games! A glint caught his eye. One of Donald's men had a small device in his hand. A remote. Something clicked in Elon's mind. A destructive realization dawning. What is that? His voice lowered. A dangerous edge cutting through the chaos. Donald chuckled, stepping closer to Elon's father. Oh, you'll find out soon enough. Your life is about to change forever. At that moment, the device beeped loudly. A hidden door behind them hissed open, revealing a dark, cold room. Inside swirled strange machinery, screens flickering images of faces. Elon's face among them, marked with red arrows and glowering statistics. Elon felt bile rise in his throat. What is this? What have you done? Donald stepped back, arms crossed, eyes gleaming. This is just the beginning. Allow me to introduce you to Project Phoenix, where legacies rise and fall. How well do you know your father's past, Elon? Elon's heart raced. You're lying! His father shook his head, fear masking his features. No, son, it's true. I didn't want you to know. Before Elon could process the betrayal, the screens flickered, and the images shifted. A younger version of his father appeared, shaking hands with men in suits, deals lined with murky undertones. With each exchange, Elon felt the ground beneath him give way. What have you done? Elon's voice cracked, anger mixing with despair. But then, something snapped. An unexpected realization that shattered the tension. His father wasn't just hiding. He was ensnared in this twisted world too. Dad, no! You were part of this? The shock felt like a punch to the gut. The silence hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. The truth hung between them, a chasm widening with each heartbeat. Just when Elon thought he couldn't take any more, Mia stepped forward. Elon, we need to run, now! But it was too late. Glancing back, he saw Donald smirk, the device glinting ominously in his hand. You think you can escape? You're not just fighting for your life. You're battling your entire legacy. Time froze. The weight of his family's secrets crashed down, binding him in chains of revelation and despair. As the door hissed, shadows poured through, and the walls felt like they were closing in. It was now or never. But what if escaping meant leaving behind everything he thought he knew? Go, Mia shouted, pulling him back from the edge. But the choice loomed large. What would discovery cost him? And before he could decide, darkness surged in, swallowing the light whole. Elon felt the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. He could sense the danger looming, the shadows closing in, as Donald's smug smile taunted them. The room quivered with the weight of unspoken truths. You think you can escape? Donald's voice cut through the chaos, confident and cruel. Mia urged him to run, but everything froze. The door behind Donald burst open with a bang. A figure stumbled in. It was Carla, but she didn't look right. Her face was pale, eyes wide, and a strange glint sparkled in her hand. Elon! She screamed, panic twisting her voice. It's a setup! Time slowed as Donald turned, surprise flickering in his eyes. Before anyone could react, Carla raised her arm, revealing a small device, something that looked like a remote. You have to trust me, she shouted, her voice breaking with urgency. Everything shifted. What are you doing? Elon yelled, confusion washing over him. He didn't want to believe it. Not now! It's the only way, Carla cried, pressing the button before anyone could stop her. A loud hum filled the air. The lights flickered again, bright and disorienting. The screens around the room burst to life. The footage displaying a hidden lab with men in suits and cinder block walls. Project files stacked high. Names on the screen began to scroll rapidly. Musk, Trump, and more. The words leaped out like daggers. Elon's heart raced. He felt sick. The lab was filled with images of experiments, genetic manipulation, technology advancements, a dark history written in the shadows of his family's legacy. Footage of moments he never knew existed flashed before his eyes, showing the consequences of greed. He staggered back. No! This can't be real! Donald chuckled, the sound low and mocking. Welcome to your past, Elon. You were meant for this. A puppet in a grand design. Suddenly, chaos erupted. A loud clang echoed, followed by shouting from the hallway. The intruders had stormed in. Elon's instincts kicked in. We have to go! He screamed, gripping Mia's hand. But then the unexpected happened. Carla dropped to her knees, gasping, pain flashing across her face. "No, please," she wheezed. Everything seemed to freeze at that moment. "Elon," she choked out, "you need to—" But before she could finish, she fell forward, the device slipping from her fingers, skittering across the floor like a lost hope. Mia gasped. "Carla!" She ran to her side, panic flooding her voice. "No!" Elon yelled, torn between the chaos closing in and the horrifying scene before him. Carla's eyes were wide with confusion and fear, fading fast. And then, the unexpected twist. As the device lit up again, an image stretched across one of the screens. It was a young woman standing next to Elon's father, smiling innocently. But she looked eerily similar to Carla. Elon's breath hitched. "No, it can't be. Why didn't you tell me?" he shouted at his father, who stood frozen in shock, nothing but fear etched on his face. She's my sister?" The world spun as realization crashed over him, an unrelenting tidal wave. The intimacy of betrayal and loss swirled around him. Carla wasn't just an ally, she was family, hidden from him for years. Chaos erupted beyond the walls as unfamiliar faces flooded in. Shadows moving with purpose. Everything became a blur. The images, the past, the pain transformed the battlefield. As Elon clutched Carla's lifeless body, all he could think about was the ancestral curse he never knew he carried. What now? How could he confront Donald, the shadows of his lineage, knowing everything he thought he understood was a lie? As sirens wailed outside, the screen flickered one last time, displaying messages he had never seen. Bloodlines matter. The truth loomed over him like a dark cloud, threatening to swallow him whole as the reckoning began to crash over everything he thought he knew. Elon cradled Carla's lifeless body. Grief clutching his heart, so tight it felt like it was made of stone. The chaos around him blurred, sounds of shouting and running footsteps fading into a distant echo. Everything he built, every dream and ambition, crashed down like shattered glass. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered, the question heavy in the air. But the answer hung unsaid, lost forever with her fading heartbeat. Mia's eyes were brimming with tears, anger morphing into despair. "We have to move, Elon," she urged, but the weight of loss pinned him down. "I can't leave her," he said, trembling. Then, a shift in the air. His father, once a source of hope, stood paralyzed by his own secrets. "We never wanted you to be part of this. It was to safeguard you." "Safeguard me from what? The truth?" Elon shot back, fury igniting his words. How could they hide this from him? The shadows of his lineage were tangled in betrayal, anger rippling through him like a storm. Donald smirked, relishing the chaos. "You think you can escape your destiny? This is just the beginning." "Elon," Mia's voice pierced through. "We have to protect what's left." With all the courage he could muster, he turned. "We're done playing games," he growled, grappling with his anger. "Everything you've built on lies ends now." He didn't hesitate. He reached for Carla's device, its glow pulsing in his hand. The imagery flooded back, the secrets, the lies, and the dark legacy. He powered it up, ready to expose everything. Donald's laughter echoed coldly. "You really think that can save you?" But in that moment, Elon felt a surge, one fueled by hope and rage. He stepped forward, determination hardening his voice. "I won't be a pawn anymore." With fierce resolve, he pressed the button, unleashing the files within the device. Images filled the room. Truth overspilled from its confines. Contracts, meetings, shadows of their family past emerged, unraveling the tangled web before them, illuminating hidden affiliations and betrayal. Chaos erupted, Donald's face falling in shock as the truth flickered on every screen. The betrayal was unmasked. Bystanders were frozen, mouths agape, eyes wide. The room buzzed with disbelief. "It's over," Elon declared, feeling the weight of acceptance wash away the despair. "The truth sets us free." But even as victory washed over him, a part of him mourned Carla, the sister he never knew, the kinship they'd never have, the crumbs of hope scattered among the wreckage. Mia moved to his side, her resolve stronger now. "We need to get out of here, now!" As alarms blared, the chaos rose outside. They all rushed towards the exit, determination coursing through them. Each step felt like a broken promise he made long ago, but he stood firm. The door crashed open. A blinding light flooded the room as they stumbled into the chaos outside. Press and police melded in a frenzy, chaos intersecting with purpose. Elon raised his head, facing the reporters and flashing lights, his voice steady, though his heart raced. "This is a reckoning. The truth is out. No more hiding." As they charged into the crowd, adrenaline pushed them onward. But in that moment, beyond the shadows and flashes, a nagging fear loomed. Would the truth truly free them? Or were they just stepping into another trap? Elon caught Mia's eye, both of them aware that the battle had just begun. They couldn't go back to their past, but the future felt uncertain. Each unknown echoed with a question. What legacy would they forge now? And as Elon breathed in the crisp air, he knew there was no turning back. This was just the beginning of a fight, not only for themselves, but for every shadow that lies hidden in their ancestry. You have to subscribe now. Don't miss the upcoming exclusive stories that will uncover even deeper secrets. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and tell the world. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about this explosive ending. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this. Don't wait even a second longer. True fans know your support matters.